Okay, let's get right into it. Forget everything you think you know about self-improvement. We're not just talking about discipline today. We're diving into a philosophy of it that's so absolute, so ruthless, it's actually designed to be feared. This is a Machiavellian guide. And what we mean by that is it's all about being pragmatic, strategic, and focused on power. But in this case, it's about having absolute power over yourself. Just let that sink in for a second. The whole idea here is that there's a potential you, right now, locked inside, who's been forged in the fires of discipline, a version of you that is completely unrecognizable from the person you are today. This isn't about waking up a little bit earlier. No. This is about re-engineering your entire being into a force of nature. So why are you here? I mean, really, why would you click on something with a title like that? Well, the material we're breaking down today suggests it's because you're feeling a very specific kind of burnout. You're just soul tired. You're exhausted from making promises to yourself that you know you'll abandon by lunchtime. You're sick of watching other people move forward while you feel like you're just stuck in the same loop, you know? That burst of motivation and then the inevitable crash. This whole explainer, it speaks directly to that feeling. And right here, this is the most important distinction. We are throwing out all the gentle encouragement you hear in typical self-help. The Machiavellian way, it treats your weakness not as something you need to manage, but as an internal enemy. An enemy that has to be systematically destroyed so your most powerful self can finally take the throne. So how in the world do you even begin a transformation like this? Well, the very first step is a radical one. You have to learn how to operate in complete and total silence. Just look at the difference here. The average person, what do? They broadcast their goals. They post about their new beginnings all over social media. But psychologically, that's a total trap. It gives you a little dopamine hit, right? A feeling like you've already accomplished something, which actually kills the pressure you need to perform. The disciplined man, though, he builds his power in the dark. He lets his results do all the talking for him. And this is how you apply it. Just imagine it. No big announcements, no progress updates on Instagram, just 6 months of relentless, quiet, focused work. On your mind, on your body, on your skills. You don't come back and tell people you've changed. Oh no, they feel it. Your entire presence is different. All right, so you've laid the foundation of silence. Now we move to the internal battle. This is where you learn to master your own feelings, turning them from your master into your servant. This is such a powerful idea. See, discipline isn't about not feeling the desire to quit. Of course you're going to feel it. It's about having the learned ability to just ignore that feeling completely. It's about acknowledging the feeling. Yep, I hear you. I don't want to get up, but denying it any authority. You treat your emotions like the weather. You see the storm, but you don't cancel the journey. And here's a brilliantly simple tactic to actually do this. That moment of decision, when that alarm blares, that's where the battle is won or lost. Your brain is hardwired for comfort. If you give it more than 3 seconds, it will convince you to go back to bed. The key is to completely bypass the negotiation. 3, 2, 1, move. Your body has to obey the command, not the feeling. All right, phase 3. Now this is often the hardest, but it's absolutely central to this entire philosophy. You have to learn to use solitude not as a punishment, but as a weapon for your own growth. This quote from Machiavelli just cuts right to the heart of it. Your friends, your social circle, their opinions, none of that is in your control. To build that true, unshakable inner strength, you have to learn how to stand completely on your own 2 feet. It's in the deep silence of being alone that you finally hear your own mission crystal clear. And when you start down this path, you have to expect pushback. Your growth, it acts like a mirror. And for some people, it reflects their own stagnation right back at them. They'll call you obsessed. They'll say you're no fun. The trick is to reframe these comments. They're not insults. They are confirmations. They're like little signposts telling you that you're going in the right direction. And that leads us perfectly into the next phase, where we start to see how mastering your emotions translates into a totally new form of power. See, when you're no longer controlled by your feelings, you become unpredictable, and that makes you formidable. Think about it. An undisciplined person is tragically predictable. Their emotional buttons are just out there for anyone to push. You can insult them, they get angry. You pressure them, they fold. But the disciplined man, he methodically removes those buttons one by one. A crisis hits, he doesn't panic, he analyzes. That lack of an emotional reaction is absolutely terrifying to other people because it makes you impossible to control. So the takeaway here is crucial. Stop broadcasting your problems. Looking for sympathy is basically the same as showing an enemy your weak points on a map. A Machiavellian approach is to hide your wounds, not because you're ashamed, but as a tactical defense. You just don't give anyone the leverage of knowing they got to you. Okay, now we're getting to the very core of your new operating system. We're talking about the impossibly high standard that you are now going to hold yourself to. This is about declaring a personal war on mediocrity. I mean, just look around you. Instant gratification, endless entertainment, comfort on demand. Everything in our modern world is engineered to sedate you, to keep you average. So to choose radical discipline in this kind of environment isn't just self-improvement. It is a profound act of rebellion against the default setting of our culture. And this explains so perfectly why holding yourself to an absolute standard gets so much criticism. When you prove what is possible through your actions, you silently invalidate all the excuses of the people who are unwilling to do the work. It is so much easier for them to dislabel you as an extremist than it is for them to confront their own laziness. This brings us to the final, and yeah, probably the most difficult phase of them all. To truly become this new person, you have to be willing to hold a funeral for the person you used to be. Look at this list very carefully. This is a targeted assassination of your old self. The part of you that craves validation from others. The part that feels guilty for wanting more out of life. The part that is a slave to every little comfort and impulse. That version of you has to go. It is a painful shedding of skin, but it is the only way you're going to grow. And this is the harsh, non-negotiable truth. There is a cost to this level of ambition. It's not a potential side effect. It's a guaranteed tax on greatness. The philosophy here is simple. Stop complaining about the tax and just pay it. It's the price of admission. And ultimately, it all comes down to this one single choice. You can have the warmth and the supposed safety of the herd, where you're comfortable but ultimately trapped, or you can choose the cold, the hunger, and the freedom of the hunt. You can be the sheep, safe in the pen, or you can be the wolf on the hill. You cannot be both. And that's the final command. The whole process is one of destruction and then rebirth. You have to tear down the old you to make room for the new one. So the question this whole philosophy leaves you with is this. Are you willing to do what it takes to become the person you would currently be afraid of?